"Get your black ass off this street." That's what the white cop says to Anthony Carter. Not a request, a threat. Words designed to humiliate a black man on a Sunday afternoon in Georgia. Anthony tries to respond, stays calm, but the cop isn't listening. He reaches into his patrol car, pulls out a golf club, then he attacks, swings it down hard overhead. The metal cracks against Anthony's shoulder. Anthony drops to the concrete. The cop raises the club again, but Anthony pulls something from his jacket, something gold. It flashes in the sun, a badge. The cop freezes. The golf club falls from his hand, hits the pavement. 8 seconds that flipped everything. If you've ever been judged by your skin, stay. What happens next proves that sometimes the victim has more power than the badge that attacked him. 2 hours earlier, Anthony Carter is just a man enjoying his Sunday. He finishes 9 holes at Riverside Country Club, par on the 8th, bogey on the 9th, but he'll take it. At 37, he's learned that golf is about patience, not perfection. Same lesson applies to his real job, though nobody at this club knows what he actually does for a living. His phone buzzes. A photo from his daughter, Zoe. She's 9 years old, holding up her science fair project, a baking soda volcano painted to look like Mount Vesuvius. The caption reads, "Dad, look, it exploded." Anthony smiles, texts back 3 heart emojis and a thumbs up. His wife Lisa is with Zoe at her sister's house, number 1638 Riverside Drive, just 6 blocks from the golf course. He could drive. His car sits in the parking lot, keys in his pocket. But Lisa's been after him about walking more. Doctor said the same thing at his last checkup. High blood pressure, stress, the kind of thing that comes with the job. So Anthony walks. Pinewood Springs, Georgia. Population 58,000. It looks perfect from the outside. Oak trees lining every street. American flags on porches, kids riding bikes in cul-de-sacs. The kind of town people move to for the good schools and the safe neighborhoods. But Anthony knows what those phrases really mean. He grew up 20 miles south of here, in a neighborhood where those same phrases were used to keep people who looked like him on the other side of the county line. Redlining, steering, the polite words for segregation that never really ended, just got quieter. He joined the police force 15 years ago to change that. Spent a decade in patrol, 3 years in homicide, made detective at 32. He was good at it, closed cases, built trust in communities that had every reason not to trust cops. Then he took a different path. Internal Affairs, Atlanta PD, the unit that investigates other police officers, the job that makes every cop in every locker room go silent when you walk in. The job where you have no friends, only subjects and witnesses. Anthony reaches into his jacket pocket, feels his badge. Not his regular detective shield. The special one. IA. 2 letters that change everything. But today he's off duty. Today he's just Anthony. Husband, father, man who played 9 holes and wants to get home for Sunday dinner. The afternoon sun sits heavy on his shoulders. August in Georgia means heat that sticks to your skin, air so thick you can almost taste it. He passes house after house on Riverside Drive, perfectly cut lawns, sprinklers ticking, a dog barking behind a fence. The street is quiet. Too quiet. Anthony's walked this route a dozen times visiting his sister-in-law. Never had a problem. But something feels different today. A tension in the air he can't quite name. His shoulder aches from his golf swing. He rotates it, feeling the pull. Getting old, he thinks. Not quite 40, but close enough to feel it. 3 blocks to go. That's when he hears the engine. The particular sound of a patrol car, Crown Victoria, police package, the engine that drops pitch when someone's watching instead of driving. Anthony doesn't turn around. Doesn't need to. He knows that sound better than most people on Earth. The car rolls up beside him. Pinewood Springs Police Department. Unit 512, white with blue stripes. Anthony keeps walking, hands visible, posture relaxed. He's done nothing wrong. He's on a public street. He knows his rights. The patrol car passes him, then stops. Brake lights flare red. The driver's door opens. A white officer steps out. Mid-40s, solid build, sergeant stripes on his sleeve. His name tag reads Wilson, and everything changes. Derek Wilson stands beside his patrol car. His hand rests on his duty belt. Not on his gun yet, but close enough. "Excuse me." Anthony stops, turns. "Yes, officer?" Wilson looks him up and down, takes his time. The kind of look that measures and judges before you speak. His eyes linger on Anthony's khaki pants, navy polo, sneakers. "What are you doing here?" The emphasis on "you" lands like a slap. Anthony's heard that tone in hundreds of complaints. The tone that makes a person a problem based on skin color alone. "Walking home, sir. This is a private neighborhood." Wilson crosses his arms. "It's not. Riverside Drive is public," but Anthony doesn't correct him. "I'm heading to 1638, my sister-in-law's house, my wife and daughter are there." Wilson narrows his eyes. "Let me see identification." "Am I being detained?" Silence. A car passes 2 blocks away. A sprinkler ticks nearby. Normal Sunday sounds. Wilson steps closer. 1 step, 2. "I asked you a question, boy." 4 letters carrying centuries of hate. 4 letters stripping away Anthony's 37 years, his degree, his 15 years of service. Anthony's jaw tightens. His hands stay visible, because he knows what happens if he gives this cop any excuse. "I'm not required to provide identification without reasonable suspicion of a crime. Am I suspected of a crime?" Wilson's face flushes red. "You're acting suspicious." "How?" "Don't get smart. I'm trying to understand what I've done wrong. I'm walking on a public sidewalk." Wilson's hand moves toward his belt. "Get your black ass off this street!" The words echo. A door opens down the block. An elderly woman steps onto her porch, phone in hand. "Officer Wilson, I'm just—" "Shut up!" Wilson turns to his patrol car, opens the rear door, reaches inside. He pulls out a golf club, a putter, old, scratched. Anthony's pulse spikes. "Officer Wilson, there's no need—" Wilson isn't listening. He's already written the report. Subject acting erratically, refused commands. Officer felt threatened. Wilson advances, 3 steps, 2. Anthony raises his hands, palms out. "I am not resisting." "Damn right." The club swings up, over Wilson's head. Metal catches the sun, then comes down, fast, hard, impact. The club connects with Anthony's left shoulder. Crack, metal meeting bone. The sound echoes down the street. Pain explodes, white hot. Anthony's knees buckle. He hits the sidewalk, concrete hot against his cheek. "Stop! What are you doing?" The woman's voice from her porch. Wilson grabs Anthony's jacket, hauls him up. "Don't resist." "I'm not—" Pain shoots down Anthony's arm. "I'm not resisting." Wilson raises the club again, higher. "On the ground! I'm already—" The club starts down, aimed at his head. Anthony reaches into his jacket. Slow, deliberate. His right hand moves to his inside pocket. Wilson sees it. His hand drops to his weapon. "Hands where I can—" Anthony pulls it out. A badge. 7-pointed star. Gold in the sun. Letters clear. IA. He flips it open. The badge flashes. "Detective Anthony Carter, Internal Affairs Division, Atlanta Police Department." Wilson freezes. The club stops mid-air. His mouth opens, closes. The badge flashes again. Wilson's hand opens. The club falls, clangs on pavement. He steps back. Once. Twice. Face draining from red to pale. From her porch, the woman speaks into her phone. 911? A police officer attacked someone with a golf club, Riverside Drive. I saw everything. Wilson stares at the badge, at the blood on Anthony's face, at the club on the ground. Then he turns, gets in his car. The engine starts. Unit 512 pulls away, slow, then faster, then gone. Anthony stays on the sidewalk, breathing hard, badge in his hand, shoulder on fire, blood warm on his cheek. The woman hurries down from her porch, elderly, floral dress, concern on her face. "Are you okay? I called 911. I saw what he did." Anthony nods. Can't speak yet. The adrenaline fading, the pain intensifying. But one thought cuts through everything else. Derek Wilson just assaulted an internal affairs detective. The one cop with authority to investigate other cops, the one person who can destroy his career, his reputation, his freedom. Wilson thought Anthony was just another black man he could intimidate, someone who'd stay silent, someone without power. He was wrong. And that mistake? That changes absolutely everything. August 12th, 4:52 p.m. The 911 recording captures everything. Dispatcher. 911, what's your emergency? Caller. I need police. A police officer just attacked someone on Riverside Drive. Dispatcher. Ma'am, can you repeat that? Caller. A police officer. He had a golf club. He hit a black man who was just walking. Hit him with the club. I saw the whole thing. The caller is Eleanor Hayes, 68 years old. Retired school teacher. She's lived on Riverside Drive for 32 years. She's seen a lot, but nothing like this. The recording continues. Eleanor describes the patrol car, Unit 512, describes the officer, white 40s, sergeant stripes, describes Anthony, black 30s, athletic build, bleeding on her sidewalk. The officer drove away, Eleanor says, but the man he hit is still here, he's hurt. He showed me a badge, he's a police officer too, internal affairs, he said. The dispatcher goes quiet for a second. Then, "Ma'am, stay on the line. We're sending units now." By 5:15 p.m., 3 Pinewood Springs patrol cars arrive. By 5:30 p.m., an ambulance takes Anthony to Pinewood General Hospital. Eleanor Hayes gives her statement to a detective, says it 3 times the same way each time because it's the truth and the truth doesn't change. "I saw Officer Wilson attack that man for no reason. The man wasn't fighting, wasn't running, just walking." August 13th, 9 a.m. Anthony Carter walks into Pinewood Springs Police Department headquarters. His left arm is in a sling. Medical report from the hospital. Contusion to the left shoulder, possible rotator cuff strain, abrasions to the face and left arm. Treated and released. He carries a manila folder. Inside, his IA credentials, a formal complaint, copies of his medical records, and a statement typed up last night while his shoulder throbbed and his daughter asked why Daddy was hurt. The desk sergeant looks uncomfortable. "Detective Carter, the chief is expecting you." Chief Raymond Foster meets him in a conference room. 56 years old, 30 years with Pinewood Springs PD. He has the look of a man who spent his career protecting something, and right now that something is his department. "Detective Carter." Foster extends his hand. Anthony shakes it with his right. "I want you to know we take this very seriously." "Good," Anthony says, "because I'm opening a formal investigation." Foster's smile tightens. "We're conducting our own internal review." "With respect, Chief, I'm not waiting for your review." Anthony slides the folder across the table. "I'm a sworn IA detective with cross-jurisdictional authority under Georgia Code. I have the right to investigate any peace officer in this state when there's probable cause." Foster opens the folder, reads. His face doesn't change, but his knuckles go white on the edges of the paper. "And I have probable cause," Anthony continues. "Assault, battery, deprivation of rights under color of law, filing a false report." "False report?" Anthony pulls out another sheet. "Officer Wilson filed his incident report at 4:58 p.m. yesterday, 6 minutes after the assault. I obtained a copy this morning." He reads from it. "Subject acting suspiciously on Riverside Drive, refused to comply with lawful orders. Exhibited erratic behavior, minimal control technique necessary to gain compliance." Anthony looks up. "Minimal control technique, that's what he called it. Hitting me with a golf club while I was trying to show my ID." Foster shifts in his chair. "Detective, I understand you're upset." "I'm not upset, Chief. I'm objective. This isn't personal, it's professional." Anthony leans forward. "Derek Wilson assaulted me. Eleanor Hayes witnessed it. The 911 recording confirms it. And his report is a lie. That's 3 charges right there. Wilson is a decorated officer with 12 complaints in his file." The room goes silent. Anthony lets that number sit. 12 complaints over 7 years. I pulled his record this morning. 11 of those complainants were black or Latino. 7 involved excessive force. 0 resulted in discipline. Foster's jaw tightens. "Those complaints were investigated and found to be unfounded, unsubstantiated, administratively closed." Anthony nods. "I read the files, every single one. And you know what I noticed, Chief? The language is almost identical. Same phrases, same conclusions, like someone had a template." Foster stands. "Detective Carter, I think we should continue this conversation when you've had time to—" "I've had plenty of time." Anthony stands too, winces as his shoulder protests. "I spent last night reading every complaint filed against Derek Wilson, reading the witness statements that somehow disappeared, reading the body cam footage that mysteriously malfunctioned, reading the reports that got amended after the fact." He moves toward the door, stops, turns back. "You've been protecting him, Chief, for years, and I'm going to prove it." By August 14th, the story hits the local news. Channel 8 runs a 30-second segment. Pinewood officer involved in confrontation with off-duty Atlanta detective. The department's public information officer gives a statement. "We take all complaints seriously. A thorough internal review is underway." But something else happens that day. Something the department doesn't expect. Eleanor Hayes calls the Atlanta Chronicle. asks for the investigative desk. Gets transferred to Sarah Bennett, a reporter who spent 5 years covering police misconduct in Georgia. I witnessed a police officer attack a black man for no reason, Eleanor says, and I think it's happened before. Sarah Bennett listens, takes notes, asks questions. By the end of the call, she's opening a new file on her laptop. The subject line reads, Pinewood PD Pattern and Practice. August 15th. Eleanor's doorbell rings. It's a man in his late 20s, Officer Jake Murphy, Pinewood Springs PD. He's out of uniform. Looks nervous. Mrs. Hayes? I heard about what you witnessed. I just wanted to say... He glances around. Thank you for speaking up. Eleanor studies him. You know Officer Wilson. I work with him. Jake's voice drops. And I've seen things that made me uncomfortable. Like what? Jake hesitates. Then, can I give you a name? Someone who might want to talk to you, or that reporter? Eleanor hands him a pen and paper. Jake writes down a phone number. This is my personal cell, if Detective Carter needs someone on the inside, someone who's willing to tell the truth. He leaves before Eleanor can ask anything else, but the paper stays on her kitchen table, the number that might crack this case wide open. Because Derek Wilson's violence isn't a secret to everyone at Pinewood Springs PD. Some people just needed permission to stop being silent. August 16th. Derek Wilson sits in a conference room at Pinewood Springs PD headquarters. His lawyer sits beside him, a former cop himself, now in private practice defending officers in misconduct cases. Across the table, Anthony Carter, not as a victim, as an investigator. The shift is immediate, undeniable. The man who was bleeding on the sidewalk 3 days ago now holds all the power in this room. Anthony opens a folder, doesn't look at Derek, doesn't acknowledge the lawyer yet, just reads from a document. Derek Wilson, 18 years with Pinewood Springs PD, currently holding the rank of sergeant. 12 internal affairs complaints filed between 2017 and 2024. 0 sustained, 0 disciplinary actions. He looks up. That's a remarkable record, Officer Wilson. Either you're the unluckiest cop in Georgia, or something else is going on. Derek's lawyer leans forward. Detective Carter, my client is here voluntarily to cooperate with... Your client attacked me with a golf club. Anthony's voice stays flat, professional. That's not cooperation, that's assault, and I'm not here as a victim today. I'm here as an internal affairs detective with the authority to investigate this case. The lawyer blinks. I wasn't aware IA had jurisdiction. Georgia Code March 4th 45 grants IA detectives cross-jurisdictional authority to investigate peace officers anywhere in the state when probable cause exists. Anthony slides a document across the table. That's my authorization, signed by my captain and countersigned by the Georgia Post commander. Everything I do here is legal, binding, and admissible. Derek Wilson's face has gone pale. He's realizing what he didn't know on Sunday. The man he attacked wasn't a random civilian, wasn't someone who'd file a complaint and then give up when the department buried it. The man he attacked investigates cops for a living. Anthony continues. Officer Wilson, let's talk about your report. You stated I was acting suspiciously. What suspicious behavior did you observe? Derek glances at his lawyer. The lawyer nods. He was walking in a residential area, Derek says. Didn't belong there. How did you determine I didn't belong? I just knew. You knew. Anthony writes something down. What specifically made you believe I didn't have a legitimate reason to be on Riverside Drive? Silence. Was it the way I was dressed? Anthony asks. Khakis and a polo shirt. Was it the time of day? 4:30 in the afternoon? Was it my behavior? Walking in a straight line? More silence. Or was it the color of my skin, Officer Wilson? The lawyer jumps in. My client did not engage in racial profiling. Then what was it? Anthony's voice stays calm, cold. Because I've read your report. You claim I refused to comply with lawful orders. What order did I refuse? Derek shifts in his chair. I asked for ID. Did I refuse to provide it? You questioned whether you had to. That's not a refusal. That's exercising my Fourth Amendment rights. Anthony flips a page. You also state you used minimal control technique. Is that how you describe hitting someone with a golf club? I felt threatened. By what? He reached into his jacket to retrieve my badge, Anthony says, which you would have seen if you'd waited 2 seconds instead of swinging a club at my head. The lawyer clears his throat. Detective, I think we've answered enough questions for today. One more. Anthony looks directly at Derek Wilson. Have you ever used physical force on a civilian who later turned out to be innocent? Derek's hands clench under the table. Because I'm looking at your file. 12 complaints. And here's what I notice. Every single one follows the same pattern. Black or Latino subject, claim of suspicious behavior, escalation to force, report filed stating subject was non-compliant. Anthony closes the folder. That's not bad luck, Officer Wilson, that's a pattern. And patterns are exactly what Internal Affairs investigates. He stands. Derek and his lawyer remain seated. This interview is over, but this investigation? It's just beginning. Anthony walks out. Behind him, Derek Wilson realizes the truth. The badge he attacked belongs to the one person who can destroy his career, his reputation, and his freedom. The status has flipped. The hunter became the hunted. And there's no going back. August 17th, 8:30 a.m. Sarah Bennett meets Anthony at a Waffle House 20 miles outside Pinewood Springs, away from town, away from eyes. Detective Carter. She slides into the booth. Call me Anthony. He pushes coffee toward her. Sarah Bennett, Chronicle. She opens her notebook. Eleanor said you're IA, investigating Wilson. Correct. Why talk to a reporter? Your job is exposing truth. Mine is proving it in court. Sometimes those align. Sarah flips pages. Eleanor gave me 3 names. People who claim Wilson used excessive force. All black, same area. Last 2 years. None filed complaints. 1 tried. Desk sergeant told him it wasn't worth it, that his story might get complicated. Sarah looks up. Another got a phone call at home. Anonymous voice said complaints against decorated officers backfire, mentioned immigration status might get scrutinized. Anthony's jaw tightens. Witness intimidation. 3rd victim is a college student, won't go on record. Says who'd believe her over a cop? They talk for an hour. Share information within boundaries. Establish rules about what can be published when. One more thing, Sarah says. Got an anonymous call. Young male voice. Said if I want to understand Wilson, I should look at federal grant money. What grant money? Wouldn't say. Just follow the money from DOJ. She shrugs. Could be nothing. Anthony makes a note. If you find anything, tell me. They leave separately, 10 minutes apart. But they're working the same case now, August 18th, 2:15 p.m. Sarah knocks on the door at 1851 Riverside Drive, directly across from where Anthony was attacked. An older Hispanic man answers. Yes? Mr. Martinez? I'm Sarah Bennett, Atlanta Chronicle. She shows credentials. Investigating an incident that occurred across the street August 12th. Were you home? Martinez studies her. I read your police reform articles. Good work. Come in. He leads her to a home office. 4 security monitors on the wall. Installed these after a break-in last year. He clicks his mouse. Front, back, both sides. 30-day rolling storage. Sarah's pulse quickens. Does your front camera cover the street? Wide angle. Everything from my driveway 20 feet in either direction. He pulls up files. And yes, I still have August 12th, day 6 of the cycle. Can I see it? Martinez pulls up the video. Timestamp, 4:33 p.m. Anthony walks into frame, hands in pockets, relaxed, just walking. Unit 512 rolls up, stops. Wilson gets out. Conversation. Anthony's body language calm throughout, hands visible, no threatening moves. Wilson returns to his car, gets the golf club. Confrontation. Anthony raises his hands. Clear surrender posture. Wilson swings. Anthony goes down, crystal clear, no ambiguity. Complete vindication of Anthony's account. Complete destruction of Wilson's report. Would you provide this to my newspaper? Sarah asks. I already gave Detective Carter a copy yesterday, but yes. Martinez burns a DVD. That officer needs accountability. Receipt #5. Video evidence. Secured. That evening, Anthony sits at his desk at Atlanta PD. After hours. Building empty. He accesses Pinewood Springs PD personnel database remotely. His IA credentials give him legal access. He pulls Wilson's complete complaint history. 12 complaints, 7 years. He reads systematically, taking notes. Cases #111. Same pattern. Racial profiling. Excessive force. Unlawful searches. Same conclusion. Unfounded. Same problem. Missing video. Body cameras malfunctioning. Dash cams not activating, but case #12 is different. January 2024, Andre Johnson, black male, 19. Wilson attacked him outside a store. Claimed he matched robbery description. No robbery reported. Finding, unsubstantiated. Actions within policy, but there's video from Wilson's partner, Jake Murphy. Anthony clicks the link. It plays. Wilson approaching Andre, grabbing him, slamming him against a wall. Andre not resisting, asking what he did. Wilson, shut up. Camera shifts away 3 seconds, returns. Andre on ground bleeding, 6 minutes of footage. But Wilson's report says approximately 2 minutes. Investigation finding says video supports officers' brief professional interaction. Someone's lying. Anthony checks file properties. Creation January 18th, 8:03 p.m. Makes sense. Auto upload, end of shift. Modification February 3rd, 16 days later during the investigation. Modified by Captain Daniel Hayes. Receipt #6. Pattern of buried complaints and evidence tampering. Secured August 19th, 7:45 p.m. Anthony calls Jake Murphy. Officer Murphy, Detective Carter, we should talk? Pause. Yes, sir, not over phone, not in Pinewood. Can you meet tonight? Waffle House on 441, 8 o'clock. They meet. Jake looks nervous, keeps watching the door. Detective Carter, thank you. You said you have information about Wilson. Jake nods. I've been his partner 2 years. I've seen things. Things I should have reported but didn't. Tell me. Derek targets people, black people mostly. Some Latinos, anyone he decides doesn't belong. I've watched him manufacture stops, escalate situations, put hands on people who weren't threatening, always the same type. When someone complains, Captain Hayes makes them disappear, reviews them, adjusts the language, makes complainants sound not credible, makes Derek's actions sound justified. Sometimes complaints just vanish. Why does Hayes protect him? Jake leans forward. Federal grant money, DOJ Community Policing Grant. Over $2 million. Got it 3 years ago. But there's performance metrics, complaint rate. We have to show year-over-year reduction. If complaints go up, grant gets pulled. So Hayes buries complaints. Hayes and Chief Foster. Foster signs all grant reports. He knows? Can you prove it? Jake pulls out folded paper. An email. From Chief Raymond Foster. To Captain Daniel Hayes. Date, June 18th, 2024. Subject Q2 Grant Compliance Review. Daniel at 34 complaints YTD. Last year 52. Good progress. Need to stay under 30 for year to meet DOJ metrics. Review all pending, especially Wilson, Patterson, Davis. Use standard protocols. Can't lose this funding. Anthony reads it 3 times. Standard protocols meaning bury complaints, rewrite them, make them disappear. Receipt #8. Email proving cover-up from the top. Secured. There's more. Jake pulls out a USB drive. Server logs, email backups Hayes thinks he deleted. Body camera metadata, I'm IT trained. Admin access they never revoked. 39 files, everything you need. Receipt #11. Whistleblower evidence, secured. They talk 30 more minutes. Anthony gets details, names, dates, specific incidents. When Jake leaves, Anthony sits alone. The USB drive in his pocket. This isn't just Wilson anymore. This is an entire department that chose federal money over justice. August 20th. Anthony receives a package at home. No return address. Inside, GPS data from Unit 512. August 12th. Data shows Wilson's car stationary on Riverside Drive at 4:27 p.m. Not moving, parked, waiting. His report claims routine patrol and happened to drive past at 4:33 p.m. He was lying. He was waiting. Receipt #7. GPS proving premeditation. Secured. That night, Anthony's phone rings. Unknown number. Carter. Heavy breathing. Muffled voice. Drop the investigation. Who is this? Back off while you can. Is that a threat? Advice. This goes deeper than Wilson. You keep digging. People get hurt. People are already hurt. Your family. Nice daughter. Zoe, right? 9 years old. Riverside Elementary. The line goes dead. Anthony sits in darkness. Daughter sleeping upstairs. They just threatened his family by name. Which means he's close to something they can't afford to lose. August 21st. Zoe Carter comes home from school crying. Lisa finds Anthony in his office. We need to talk. He closes his laptop. Sees the look on her face. What happened? Zoe got in trouble at school today for fighting. Fighting, Zoe? Their daughter has never been in a fight in her life. A boy in her class said you attacked a police officer, said you're going to jail. Zoe pushed him. Anthony closes his eyes. Where is she? Her room. He finds Zoe sitting on her bed. Her eyes are red. Hey, baby. She doesn't look at him. Am I in trouble? No. Anthony sits beside her. Tell me what happened. Tyler said you're bad. Said his dad said all cops who investigate cops are traitors. Said you're gonna go to prison. Tyler's dad is wrong. But why did that officer hurt you? How do you explain systemic racism to a 9-year-old? How do you explain that some people decide who you are based on your skin before you even speak? Sometimes, Anthony says carefully, people make bad choices. And when police officers make bad choices, my job is to find out why and make sure it doesn't happen again. But you got hurt. I did. But I'm okay now. Are they going to hurt you again? He pulls her close. No one's going to hurt me or you or Mom, I promise. It's a promise he's not sure he can keep. That afternoon, Lisa pulls him aside again. Someone's following me. What? A car. Gray sedan. I've seen it 3 times this week. Same car. Different locations. Anthony feels ice in his stomach. You're sure? I'm sure. Lisa's voice shakes. Anthony, what's happening? They're trying to scare me. Make me back off. Is it working? He looks at his wife. 15 years together. She's seen him through patrol, through homicide, through the decision to join IA. She's never asked him to quit before. Lisa, I'm not asking you to stop, she says. I'm asking if you can protect us while you finish this. I can. Then finish it fast. That night, Anthony installs a security system at their house. Cameras, motion sensors, alarms on every door and window. It's not enough, but it's something. August 22nd. The phone call Anthony's been dreading comes from his captain. Carter, we need to talk about Pinewood. What about it? I got a call from their chief, Raymond Foster. He's filing a complaint against you. Anthony sits up. On what grounds? Abuse of IA authority, harassment of his officers, conducting an unauthorized investigation. It's not unauthorized. I know, I've seen your paperwork. It's all legal. His captain sighs. But Foster's making noise. Says you have a personal vendetta against Wilson. Says you're using your IA badge to settle a score. That's not what's happening. I know that, you know that, but Post is going to have to review it. Formally, Post, Georgia Peace Officer Standards and Training, the agency that licenses every cop in the state. If they side with Foster, Anthony's IA authority could be suspended. How long? Week, maybe 2. They'll want to interview you, review your files, talk to witnesses. I need to keep working this case. Then work fast and document everything, because Foster's playing the long game here. That same day, Sarah Bennett gets a visit at the Atlanta Chronicle. 2 men in suits, Pinewood Springs city attorneys. Miss Bennett, we understand you're working on a story about our police department. Sarah doesn't invite them to sit. I'm working on several stories, specifically about Officer Derek Wilson. I can't discuss active investigations. We're here to remind you about Georgia's defamation laws. Publishing false or misleading information about a peace officer can result in civil liability. Sarah smiles. Cold. Are you threatening to sue me? We're advising caution. I'm a journalist. Caution is making sure every fact is airtight before I publish, which is exactly what I'm doing. The attorneys exchange looks. We'd hate to see the Chronicle face unnecessary legal expenses. Get out of my office. They leave, but the message is clear. Back off or face consequences. Sarah calls Anthony. They came after me today. I know, they're coming after everyone. Did they threaten your family? Silence. Anthony? Yeah, he says quietly. They mentioned my daughter's name, her school. Jesus, are you going to— No, I'm not stopping. But Sarah, you need to be careful. These people play dirty. So do I. August 23rd, Officer Jake Murphy gets called into Captain Hayes' office. Murphy, close the door. Jake does, knows what's coming. I understand you've been talking to people about Officer Wilson. I answered questions as required. You gave information to a reporter. Jake's heart sinks. I don't know what— Don't lie to me, officer. I know about your conversation with Mrs. Hayes. I know you've been in contact with Detective Carter. Hayes leans forward. You're young. You have a career ahead of you. Don't throw it away over Derek Wilson. Captain, I saw things. You saw an officer doing his job. Sometimes the job isn't pretty, but we don't air our dirty laundry to outsiders. We protect our own. Even when they're wrong? Hayes' face hardens. Especially then, because if we don't protect each other, who will? Jake leaves the office, finds his patrol assignment changed. Night shift, the worst areas, the most dangerous calls, punishment, warning, message received. But Jake still has the copies he made. The emails, the server logs, and he's not done talking. August 24th. Anthony Carter sits in his dark living room at 2 a.m. Can't sleep, shoulder aches, mind won't stop. His phone lights up. Lisa's name. She's calling from upstairs, which means something's wrong. Anthony, come here. Now. He takes the stairs 2 at a time. Finds Lisa at Zoe's window. Outside, parked on their street, a gray sedan, engine running, headlights off, just sitting there, watching. Anthony pulls out his phone, calls 911, then calls his captain. By the time Atlanta PD arrives, the sedan is gone, but the message was delivered. We know where you live. Anthony stands at his daughter's window, watches the street, his family sleeping behind him, his career on the line, his life threatened. And he asks himself the question everyone asks eventually. Is it worth it? Is exposing one cop's violence worth putting his own family at risk? The answer should be simple, but at 2 a.m., watching an empty street where a threat just sat, nothing feels simple anymore. August 25th. Anthony Carter doesn't go to work. He sits in his backyard instead, coffee growing cold in his hand, the morning sun already hot on his shoulders. Lisa finds him there at 10 a.m. You're still here? Yeah. Anthony, talk to me. He doesn't look at her. They threatened you. They threatened Zoe, and I keep pushing anyway. What kind of father does that? Lisa sits beside him. The kind who believes some things are worth fighting for. Are they? Really? He finally looks at her. Derek Wilson attacked me, that's wrong, but is exposing him worth putting our 9-year-old daughter in danger? They're not going to hurt Zoe. You don't know that. You can't know that. His voice cracks. I've spent 15 years as a cop. You know what I've learned? Bad cops are the most dangerous people in the world because they have the badge, they have the authority, they have the system protecting them. And you have the power to change that. Do I? Anthony laughs, bitter. Foster filed a complaint against me. Post is reviewing my authority. My own department is starting to distance themselves. And for what? So I can prove one racist cop assaulted me? There are thousands of Derek Wilsons out there. I take down one, another takes his place. That's not the man I married talking. Maybe it should be. He sets down his coffee. Maybe I should have just filed the complaint, let it get buried like the other 12, and moved on with my life. You don't believe that. I don't know what I believe anymore. They sit in silence. A bird sings somewhere. A lawnmower starts up 3 houses down. Normal Sunday sounds, like the world isn't falling apart. Zoe asked me something last night. Lisa says quietly. What? She asked if you were going to stop being a police officer. Anthony's chest tightens. What did you tell her? I told her you were the best police officer I knew. Because you help people who can't help themselves, even when it's hard. Even when it's scary. Lisa. Then she said something that broke my heart. Lisa's eyes well up. She said, but Mommy, who helps Daddy? Anthony closes his eyes. Who does help you, Anthony? When you're carrying all this weight? When you're fighting the entire system by yourself? I don't know. I do. Lisa takes his hand. We do. Me and Zoe, Sarah Bennett, Eleanor Hayes, Jake Murphy, all those people who filed complaints that got buried, we help you. Because what you're doing matters, not just to you, to everyone who's ever been Derek Wilson's next victim. What if I can't do it? What if I'm not strong enough? You are. How do you know? Because you're still here, still fighting, even after everything. She squeezes his hand. You could have dropped it the moment they threatened Zoe, could have walked away, protected your family. No one would have blamed you. I should have. But you didn't. Because you know if you stop now, Derek Wilson wins. The system wins. And the next black man who walks down Riverside Drive might not be a cop, might not have a badge to flash, might not survive. Anthony sits with that, the weight of it. This is bigger than you now, Lisa says. Bigger than our family. This is about every person who ever got attacked by a cop and had nowhere to turn. She stands, kisses the top of his head. So finish it, but finish it fast, because I miss my husband, and our daughter needs her father. She goes inside. Anthony stays in the yard, thinking, doubting, questioning everything. Then his phone buzzes. Text from Sarah Bennett. Got something. Big. Can you meet? Anthony looks at the message, looks at his house, at the window where his daughter's room is. Then he stands up, types back, where and when? Because Lisa's right. This is bigger than him now, and the only way out is through. August 26th. Sarah Bennett's article hits the Atlanta Chronicle website at 6 a.m. The headline: The Badge That Protects the Badge, Inside Pinewood PD's Pattern of Silence. Part 1 details Derek Wilson's history. 12 complaints, 11 people of color, 0 discipline, the GPS data showing he was waiting, not patrolling. The body cam that mysteriously malfunctioned. Part 2 exposes the email chain, Captain Hayes adjusting narratives, Chief Foster's directive to keep complaint numbers low, the DOJ grant and its metrics. Part 3 reveals the money, $2.3 million in federal funding tied to low complaint rates, the incentive to bury allegations, the system designed to protect officers instead of citizens. By noon, the article has 50,000 views. By 5 p.m., it's been shared 12,000 times. National outlets pick it up, CNN runs a segment, MSNBC interviews Sarah, NPR does a radio story, and something else happens, something no one expected. People start talking. August 27th, a petition appears on Change.org. Justice for Detective Carter and accountability for Pinewood Springs PD. Goal: 1,000 signatures. It hits that number in 4 hours. By evening, 3,000. By midnight, 8,000. The comments section fills with stories. Wilson pulled me over in 2019 for driving suspiciously. I'm a black doctor driving home from the hospital in scrubs. I filed a complaint. Never heard back. My son was stopped by Wilson last year. Same attitude, same threats. We were too afraid to report it. I was next. Thank you, Detective Carter, for speaking up when the rest of us couldn't. August 28th. 200 people gather outside Pinewood Springs City Hall. Peaceful protest. Signs: Fire Derek Wilson. Investigate Pinewood PD. Black lives are not suspicious. Local news covers it, then national news. City council members who've been silent suddenly want to comment. The mayor releases a statement. We take these allegations seriously and are committed to transparency. Empty words, but they're on the record now. That afternoon, Anthony's phone rings. Unknown number from Atlanta. Detective Carter, this is Thomas Reed. I'm an attorney with the Southern Advocacy Center. We represent victims of police misconduct. We'd like to offer our assistance. I appreciate that, but I'm handling this. Detective, with respect, you're not just handling a single case anymore. You've exposed a systemic problem. That requires systemic solutions. Reed pauses. We have resources, legal support, connections to federal investigators, and we'd like to help you finish what you started. Anthony thinks. What would that look like? Let us file a civil rights lawsuit on behalf of all of Derek Wilson's victims. Let us demand a federal investigation into Pinewood PD's practices. Let us make sure this doesn't just end with one officer getting disciplined. Let us change the system. And my investigation? Keep doing what you're doing. We'll support it, not interfere with it. Anthony agrees. That evening, his phone buzzes. Jake Murphy. Detective, I have more. Server logs. Metadata showing exactly when reports were edited, who edited them, email backups Captain Hayes thought he deleted. How did you? I'm IT trained. They made me admin on the server 2 years ago. They forgot to revoke access. Jake sends the files. 39 documents. Each one a piece of the puzzle. Receipt hash 11, internal whistleblower evidence secured. The next morning, Anthony wakes up to a different feeling. Not hope, exactly, but something close. The tide is turning. And for the first time since Sunday, he believes he might actually win. August 29th. Jake Murphy's files reveal something even worse than Anthony expected. He opens the server logs, timestamps showing when internal reports were accessed, modified, and saved. Derek Wilson's case hash 9 from 2022. The complaint was filed on March 15th. The investigation closed on April 2nd as unfounded. But the server log shows the incident report was edited on March 28th, 11 days after the complaint was filed. During the investigation, the original report stated, subject was non-compliant and verbally aggressive, applied OC spray to gain compliance. The edited version, subject exhibited suspicious behavior. Verbal commands given, subject complied without incident. OC spray, pepper spray, was removed entirely from the official record. Who made the edit? Captain Daniel Hayes. Anthony goes deeper, finds similar patterns in 6 other cases, reports edited mid-investigation, excessive force allegations softened to verbal warnings, witnesses' statements altered to match officers' accounts. But the most damaging file is an email Jake recovered from the server backup. From Chief Raymond Foster to Captain Daniel Hayes, Lieutenant Sarah Patterson. Date, January 15th, 2024. Subject FY 2024. Grant compliance, urgent. Team, we're 3 weeks into the new year and already at 8 complaints. We cannot afford another year like 2023. The DOJ is reviewing our grant renewal in Q3. If our complaint numbers don't show improvement, we lose $2.3 million in funding. I'm implementing new protocols effective immediately. 1. All civilian complaints must be reviewed by supervisors before formal filing. 2. Officers named in complaints will participate in complaint review. 3. IA investigations must conclude within 30 days with strong presumption of unfounded. 4. Priority protection for senior officers, Wilson, Patterson, Davis, Martinez. This is not optional. Our budget depends on these metrics. Adjust procedures accordingly. Anthony reads it 3 times. This isn't one captain covering for one bad cop. This is department-wide policy, ordered from the top. Designed to suppress complaints, protect problem officers, and preserve federal funding. Receipt #12, the smoking gun, secured. He forwards everything to Sarah Bennett, to Thomas Reed at the Southern Advocacy Center, and to someone else, someone he's been avoiding calling. FBI Atlanta Field Office, Civil Rights Division, August 30th. Anthony receives a call from Special Agent Victoria Chen. Wait, can't use Chen per naming rules. Change to Special Agent Victoria Anderson. Detective Carter, I received your package, the documents you sent regarding Pinewood Springs PD. And we're opening a preliminary investigation. Pattern or practice violations under 42 U.S.C. Section 14141. If your evidence holds up, we're looking at consent decree territory. A consent decree, federal oversight, the kind of intervention that forces entire departments to reform. How long? These things take time, months usually. But given the media attention and the clarity of your evidence, Anderson pauses. We can fast track. I'm assigning a team today. Anthony feels something he hasn't felt in 2 weeks. Vindication. Not for himself. For every person who filed a complaint that got buried, every victim whose truth was erased, every witness who was silenced. That afternoon, Sarah Bennett publishes part 4 of her series, The Grant Money That Bought Silence. She details the DOJ funding, the metrics tied to complaint rates, Chief Foster's email directing systematic suppression, the financial incentive behind every buried allegation. The article includes interviews with 5 of Derek Wilson's previous victims. People who tried to report and were turned away, people who were threatened into silence, people who thought no one would believe them. Now everyone believes them, because the evidence doesn't lie. August 31st. Pinewood Springs City Council announces an emergency meeting. Public hearing. September 5th. Subject: allegations against police department and request for independent investigation. The invitation is open to the public, to victims, to witnesses, to Detective Anthony Carter. The reckoning is coming, and everyone knows it. September 5th, 2024. Pinewood Springs City Hall. Council chambers packed, every seat filled. People standing along the walls, news cameras from 4 stations, reporters from Atlanta, Savannah, even national outlets. Anthony Carter sits in the front row, Lisa beside him, Sarah Bennett 2 rows back, Thomas Reed at a table with 3 other attorneys from the Southern Advocacy Center. Councilwoman Andrea Taylor gavels the meeting to order. We're here to address allegations against the Pinewood Springs Police Department. This hearing is on the record. All statements will be public. Chief Foster sits at a table with city attorneys. Derek Wilson beside him. Captain Hayes next to Derek. They look confident, like they've weathered scandals before. They haven't seen what's coming. Detective Anthony Carter, Councilwoman Taylor says. Please come forward. Anthony walks to the podium. No notes. Doesn't need them. Members of the council. On August 12th at approximately 4:35 p.m., I was walking on Riverside Drive. Sergeant Derek Wilson stopped me. He asked what I was doing in the neighborhood. I explained I was visiting family. He demanded ID. I asked if I was being detained. He refused to answer. The room is silent. Every eye on him. Then Officer Wilson retrieved a golf club from his patrol vehicle and struck me. I sustained injuries requiring medical treatment. When I showed him my internal affairs badge, he dropped the weapon and drove away. Anthony pauses. Lets that sink in. But this isn't about me. This is about a system that allowed Officer Wilson to brutalize 12 people over 7 years without facing a single disciplinary action. He pulls out a document, reads names, dates, allegations. Thomas Williams, 2017. Jennifer Brown, 2017. Andre Johnson, 2024. Each name a person, each person a victim. 11 of these 12 complainants are Black or Latino. 7 involve excessive force. All were closed as unfounded. A projector screen lights up behind him. Sarah's doing. The email from Chief Foster, projected large enough for everyone to read. This email, sent by Chief Foster in January, directs his command staff to suppress complaints to maintain federal grant funding. $2.3 million tied to low complaint numbers. That's the price Pinewood PD put on justice. That's what your department values more than truth. Chief Foster stands. That email is taken out of context. Is it? Anthony pulls out another document. Server logs show Captain Hayes edited 6 incident reports during active investigations. Changed excessive force allegations to verbal warnings. Deleted mentions of pepper spray, physical contact, threats. Derek Wilson's attorney tries to speak. Councilwoman Taylor cuts him off. You'll have your turn, Anthony continues. Officer Wilson didn't just attack me. He's been attacking people for years. The difference? I had a badge. I had resources. I had the knowledge to fight back. His other victims didn't. He looks directly at Derek Wilson. On August 12th, you told me to get my black ass off that street. You made an assumption based on my skin color. You decided I didn't belong. You attacked me with a weapon, and then you lied about it in your report. Derek's face goes red. But here's what you didn't know. I'm internal affairs, and my job is holding cops like you accountable. Anthony steps back from the podium. I'm recommending Derek Wilson be terminated, prosecuted, and stripped of his peace officer certification. I'm recommending federal investigation into Pinewood Springs PD for pattern and practice violations. And I'm recommending Chief Foster and Captain Hayes face criminal charges for obstruction of justice. The room erupts. Some applauding, some shouting, cameras flashing. Derek Wilson's attorney stands. My client wishes to make a statement. Derek approaches the microphone, reads from prepared notes. I deny any racial bias. I felt threatened by Detective Carter's presence and behavior. I acted in accordance with my training. These allegations are baseless and part of a coordinated attack on law enforcement. Then he adds, going off script. I've served this community for 18 years. I've risked my life, and now I'm being destroyed by a man who ambushed me. Ambushed you? Anthony stands. I was walking home. You were in a neighborhood where what? Where black people don't belong? Derek goes silent, realizes he's said too much. Thomas Reed approaches the podium. Council members, the Southern Advocacy Center represents 11 of Officer Wilson's victims. We're filing a federal civil rights lawsuit. We're also requesting the Department of Justice investigate Pinewood PD under the consent decree process. He presents a 3-inch thick binder. This contains witness statements, medical records, server logs, emails, and GPS data. Everything you need to see that this isn't one bad officer. This is systemic corruption. Councilwoman Taylor takes the binder, opens it, reads the first page. Her face goes pale. Council, we need a vote. Do we request independent federal investigation? 6 council members. 4 vote yes immediately. 1 abstains. 1, who's been silent the whole meeting, votes no. Motion carries 4-1. We will formally request DOJ investigation. Then, Officer Derek Wilson, you are hereby suspended without pay pending criminal investigation. Chief Foster and Captain Hayes, you are placed on administrative leave. The gavel falls. It's over. September 10th, 2024. Derek Wilson is suspended without pay. Criminal charges filed. Aggravated assault, filing a false report, deprivation of rights under color of law. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation opens a full audit of Pinewood Springs PD. Captain Daniel Hayes resigns. Chief Raymond Foster is placed under investigation. The Department of Justice announces a pattern or practice investigation. 6 other officers, including those named in Foster's email, are placed under review. The federal grant, $2.30 million, is suspended pending investigation results. September 15th, Anthony Carter returns to work at Atlanta PD. Same desk, same badge. His shoulder still aches when it rains, but it's healing. Zoe asks him one evening, Dad, did you win? Anthony thinks about that. We won, baby, not just me. All of us. Because here's the thing about the badge. It's supposed to protect everyone, but too often, it protects itself. Derek Wilson thought Anthony Carter was just another black man on Riverside Drive. Someone he could intimidate. Someone who'd stay silent. Someone who didn't belong. He was wrong. The badge protects those who protect the badge until someone inside refuses to look away. 8 seconds, that's all it took. A golf club, a badge, a flash of gold in the Georgia sun. 8 seconds that proved sometimes the victim has more power than the system that tried to destroy him. If this story moved you, hit that like button. Subscribe for more stories where justice isn't just talked about, it's fought for. Drop a comment. Have you ever stood up when it cost you something? Have you ever been told you don't belong? These conversations matter, because silence protects the wrong people. And Detective Anthony Carter? He's still working, still investigating, still holding the line, because there are more Derek Wilsons out there, and someone has to refuse to look away.